It's Friday. Do you know where your IT pros are? We don't. Welcome to the AZ Update Show. Co-hosting with me today, Rick Claus. Rick Claus, how you doing, sir?
Let me get a coffee. Hang on a second here.
Wow, the energy just bounced right off of you.
No, man, I'm excited. This is AZ Updates. I get to actually try out an official show with actual production. No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt and bad talk about Steve or about Switch or about Patch or whoever it happens to be. I'm quite frankly, I'm honored that you've decided to ask me onto the show. Or was it because I was the one that actually answered the phone call?
Well, we paid you the $1.37 Canadian Terror Funds, and you accepted, and so that's how we got you on the show this week.
Well, $1.37 is a little bit more than $3.80, I think. So that's actually, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Even with the exchange rate, it works.
So awesome to have you on the show. I know you've been doing Patch and Switch for a long time. Most of you out there know Rick and Rick's Tilly hat, which is the identifier for Rick Claus. Little known story. It's a Canadian hat. We have to acquire that hat for Rick from Canada every time he goes through one. So it's an interesting journey that these hats take to bring out there. Rick, there was an announcement this week of a new device that launched, or that's going to be launching in September.
Yes.
Wanted to get your input on this and your ideas in regards to this. The Surface Duo. What's your thoughts?
I happen to have one right here with me right now.
Oh, you do?
Yes, and let me open it 1 second. Oh, wait, it's half broken. I don't know where it is. It's not there. The Surface Duo is an interesting concept. I actually had a chance to look at one in the back pocket of someone on campus about 4 months ago. Actually, more than that, almost like 6 months ago. And the only reason why I knew it was because you could literally see the closed piece of the two screens together and the hinge sticking out of the guy's back pocket. So I noticed that Mary Jo Foley actually said something that's important about the obsession with things fitting in the back pockets of people to make it as a size factor to see if it works or not. So to me, it looks kind of cool. I'm kind of sad that they denied my request to get our team access to these because we are influencers. So instead, they gave it to all the executives, VPs, and above at Microsoft.
Well, we're one day we'll get one. To be honest, I'm very excited the fact that this is an Android device running Windows, having the similar experience to what you would have on a Surface Pro, Surface Book. So you're extending your usability across multiple platforms with this singular identity. And it's seamless integration of your information at your fingertips on a device that, doesn't replace your laptop, but emulates a lot of the functionality of your laptop. And how, what interesting times that we're in respect to having this device be different. We've seen folded screens before. This is something that's come to the market before.
The screen isn't fold. It's two separate screens that are hinged. Let's be very careful with that. There's a big distinction from a usability perspective. I can't imagine having a crease down the center. That would just be weird.
I don't think. I know of a lot of the devices that you have creases, but they're not supposed to.
They have cracks. They have issues. I'm just happy that you're finally going to be able to upgrade your Note 7 device that you carry as your daily driver because you're just so frugal and hanging on to the old technology. I swear you probably still have a Lumia 1020 if you could.
I have one of the largest collections of Windows phones still in power. I actually have pre-Windows phones, so a couple Pocket PCs as well.
Yeah. Nice.
I've done challenges against Ben Rudolph and others, Joe Belfiore, in terms of the amount of devices. Like, how do you have that device?
Yeah, it's just back of a truck. I don't know.
But I'm very excited for this device because of the fact that it's going to bring in a new era of devices in its utilization. And, a lot of people say, dual screen. No. Pay attention to the usability. Pay attention to the functionality. This is, the first go at a device like this, and it's only going to get better from here.
Now, I noticed that there's not a single picture of anyone actually using it like a phone. It's always a consumption while talking with someone or having a Teams call. Sometimes they're using like Surface headphones or something like that to be able to go off and have a connectivity to have a call. And then they are using the two screens. Like I love the shot of Brad Anderson with his grandkids in his home with looking at a book as if they're literally like reading a book at a fireside chat or something like that.
Well, here's an interesting experiment we can do, right? So with your hand, show me the symbol of using a phone.
Me?
Yes, you. Right. Do you know that anybody 20 and under right now does this as using a phone instead of this?
Yeah.
So what it is the
interesting.
perception of us and the way that we think that phones have to be used is the fact that we have to put the phone to our heads.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the inclusion of Bluetooth devices and incorporation of technology into vehicles now, this is becoming less likely. So the fact that you have this bigger device doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do this with the introduction of the the earbuds that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other plethora of devices that are out there.
Yeah.
This is going to go away.
Yeah, even like even with your boomer tendencies, I know you've been fitted for hearing aids that are coming up pretty soon because you're getting older in age there. But at least producer Pierre would definitely be having his Bluetooth hearing aids hooked up to the device to be able to make calls and then look completely clandestine while he's there, or looking senile, one or the other, because he's talking to himself.
So. We're both thankful, Pierre and I are both thankful that you gave us your contact for your hearing aids that you've had for numerous years.
Oh, it's
let's kick going with the news.
I
think you're
we do a show. It's actually stuff.
There's an actual show.
Okay,
we're not like Touch and Swish in that we just ramble on. We actually deliver content.
We have a structure. We've got 5 segments. So this is the section where we're going to be talking about from the trenches, right? So last week I was working on. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong show. This one is going to be.
Wow, this show's gone off the rails already.
Yes. I got it. I think I'm even sharing my screen correctly. This is a lot of technical production that we've got to go off and do. This is a blog post by our good friend Thomas Maurer, who is apparently playing hooky from this show right now. But he did specifically about a bunch of new content that's out on Microsoft Learn that you can go off and try today if you want to. But the interesting stuff about Microsoft Learn this time with this content specifically, let me just scroll down a bit so you can actually see the titles. They are hybrid focused this time. So we're talking about modernizing your on-premises infrastructure using Server 2019 and then connecting it up with hybrid connectivity to Azure for added benefit. Some of the modules include, in this case, there's 5 of them that came out with this release recently that our team created videos for and actually created the content for. Managing hybrid workloads with Azure Arc. I know you guys have talked about Arc before in previous episodes here. Implementing scale through high availability with Windows Server virtual machines. Windows Server VMs are a 50% content-wise of all VMs that are up and running inside of Azure. We're almost dead on with 50-50 as far as Linux VMs versus Windows-based VMs and Windows Server VMs. I actually even owe you a blog post, I think, about Windows Server VMs. That's coming. Don't worry about that. Implementing scale and high availability for Windows Server VMs, monitoring server IaaS VMs with hybrid instances, so looking at monitoring on-premises as well as inside of Microsoft Azure, and then also the ability to go through and manage updates for the Azure update services, migrating on-premises VMs as well up into the Azure environment, and then finally going through and implementing a hybrid file server with Azure File Sync as well. All of these are available today, right now, from docs.microsoft.com/Microsoft Learn, Learn is the short form for being able to get there. But more importantly, inside the notes themselves, we happen to have details about links to each one of these individual modules. They're quite good. You might even hear, you can't see, you can hear some cameo performances from, I believe you're in there, aren't you, Mr.
I'm in there. Yep, Oren's in there. Sarah, Pumala, everybody's in there. Awesome that the entire team got to participate.
Got it. That's awesome, man. Cool stuff. So yeah, get the entries. They're good stuff.
Aside from waiting for your post that'll be published probably 2022, what's awesome is that social has been on fire in respect to the modules being released on Windows Server. It's been asked for a long time. So kudos. I know Oren Thomas was the champion to get this done, and the whole team supported him in respect to creation of the videos and the content. It's awesome that this is available now, or as Thomas likes to say, super awesome that this is available now. And you can go out and consume it today. And if you look at Thomas's post, it provides you links for all the modules and the learning path to get started today.
You got it. Just make sure that you keep your eyes open. There's more coming.
So let's continue on with the news. So a lot of enhancements has been made available to Azure Database for PostgreSQL, encryption. We've said this before, and we'll say it again. Your data is the new currency that's out there, and everybody wants to gain access to it. What's occurring first, and what we'll talk about first, is the new availability of double encryption. So not only a singular layer of FIPS 140-2 encryption, but now an additional encryption layer made available on FIPS 140-2 again, or utilizing AES 256. So depending on what you want to utilize for your security protocol in place for your data, the availability to have a dual layer implementation of security for your data in Azure Database to ensure that malicious attacks don't occur, or to severely stop these attacks from occurring, to ensure that your data is also safe. The second enhancement that's also been announced for PostgreSQL is the availability to utilize or bring in your own key. You're hearing a new term called BYOK, bring your own key to the implementation. This allows you to use your specific key or your customer managed key for the implementation of security on SQL again, to ensure that you're keeping to your standards. There may be a requirement that the key has to be produced by the organization itself, which could occur in healthcare and financial and legal, you name it. So for that availability for a customer manager, customer created key to be brought into the fold for securing of your data in SQL.
Bringing your own key was something that was been asked for quite some time for being able to do this kind of stuff. So I'm glad that we actually have a nice document talking about that. That update has been good now that's in GA capabilities. Both of those links that we were showing on the screen there from your notes were from docs references that are very well done. I'm going to do a huge shout out to the docs team that went ahead and got these things updated with the new information. So always up to date, docs.microsoft.com. Good stuff that's inside of there, specifically on these two particular ones. Did I miss anything? I think I got all that.
Well, the only other thing you'll probably want to share is that on itopstalk.com, we do have a full rundown of all the items that we talk about in the news. So if you're looking for the links for everything here, just go to itopstalk.com, look for the latest AZ update post, and there you will find all the links for everything that we're talking about today.
That's awesome, man. Now, I've got one about end of mainstream support. Are you familiar with that one there, that term, what it means?
Well, for you, end of mainstream support was a long time ago, right? And you're still here.
Thank you. I passed my expiry date. I love that. No, but we give basically 7 years support plus an additional couple of years if you go into extended support and that sort of stuff. Anyway, mainstream support, end of mainstream support does not mean that the product goes away and disappears. It simply means that it's no longer going to be getting regular updates from us other than simply security updates that are coming down. We stop the cumulative updates as well. So basically, you want to make sure you get your last cumulative update when we publish it. In this case, it's going to be in October timeframe for Microsoft Exchange 2016. Now, why is this critical and important? Mainly because Exchange 2016 is still used by a lot of people if they need to manage the attributes of users that are created that have since been migrated up into Office 365 or M365. And so they will keep Exchange 2016 servers for free on premises, no license required, to be able to continue to maintain these objects that are created on premises that then get synchronized up inside of the M365 world. So what we basically stated is, hey, we're going to be doing this as security update only functionality. We understand that you don't have a license that you need to pay for to run those particular servers for a period of time. And we've also stated that you do need to have a license for 2019 Exchange server to do the same kind of functionality. But we've committed to the fact that we are going to make the same functionality if you still need to have it to manage user profiles and user properties, that sort of stuff, of those objects on 2019 and not require a license, but we don't have it ready yet. And we don't know if we're going to have it ready by the time mainstream support and extended support expires for 2016. So basically, we're just simply saying, hang in there. If for some reason we need to do some kind of a massive cumulative update or something like that, we're going to do it. We're not abandoning you. And obviously, when we announce more information about the 2019 option, that will be your preferred route to go. But if it's not going to be available by the time October rolls around or before the end of the security updates get around, we will have you covered. Don't worry about it, because you're important to us. So on-premises hybrid type workers that are using this kind of stuff, you're still going to have support. You're still going to be able to get security updates. Stay tuned. But great article, nice, clear, and concise, and available on the Exchange Tech Community area for M365 for more details about this particular one here. I'm assuming you finally migrated all of your grandparents off of your on-premises Exchange server, Anthony, there?
Well, are you still on on-premises Exchange?
No, I'm actually running an old-fashioned SMTP server with POP access with my kids, so I'm going old school. We actually have to use Telnet to be able to get our email.
So just to confirm, because a lot of people on social have been reaching out in regards to this, it's the cumulative updates that are no longer going to occur after October.
Right.
Right? So the security updates and what have you will still happen.
Yeah, and then obviously with anything to do with the end of mainstream support, any kind of feature functionality, that sort of stuff, none of that's going to be going down in the system. It's just security updates to keep the heartbeat going and have everything working.
Perfect. And so when other further updates in regards to licensing and the migration tools made available for 2019 come out, you know it's going to be on the show, and Rick may even be here to deliver it.
Never know. You never know.
Never know. So let's go to the chat room really quickly just to see who's there. Hey, look at that. Thomas Maurer is in the chat room.
Slacker. I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
All right. And we're going to say hi to Reese McDowell. We're going to say hi to Techie Last. Techie Last has also joined us in the chat room. This is feeling like an episode of Patch and Switch. All the team is participating in the chat.
She's just about to go on to vacations. Let's wish her well on her vacation. It's coming up and enjoy.
And congratulations on the 1-year anniversary of her show.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So number 52 of her weekly vlog, isn't it? Yes, all the cool kids have vlogs. That's why Bart doesn't have one.
Exactly. Not cool anymore. Who else we got on the stream? We got Andrew McCollum. We have Reese McDowell. We have Richard Hooper. Richard, how's it going? We have, who else we got on here? Thomas Maurer, we already said. Richard Hooper is actually going to be guest posting on IT Ops Talk pretty shortly. We've just set him up. And if you're interested in participating and driving content on itopstalk.com, feel free to reach out. And we're very interested to hear from you in terms of your sharing of your ideas and your content on the blog as well. So if you are interested, hit us up in the chat room and we can discuss further.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you've got the chat room up, because I do not have the technical bandwidth to look after the chat room. So I'm almost like a miniature producer Pierre here today.
Oh, and that's the thing. We can't do this show without producer Pierre, and he's awesome in terms of managing all this in the back scenes. So thank you, producer Pierre, for keeping us on track. As much as we like to fall off the rails a lot, he's the one who pretty much pushes us forward in terms of the show. So let's continue on with the news. Next up, a lot of announcements coming out for Cloud Shell. First up, the availability now to deploy or utilize Azure Cloud Shell inside of a private virtual network. So previous to, you're spinning up the resource as a container to gain access to your implementation or your subscription for management, for automation, for everything from a command line. Now there is the availability to go onto a private subnet, spin up that container, the Azure Cloud Shell container, and have the availability, the same automation capabilities from the command line inside of your private subnet. To add to this, and this is huge news, this tool set that is used for Cloud Shell is actually now made available as open source. So there's actually a GitHub repo that Rick is now showing on the screen in regards to highlighting the availability for the tool set that is Azure Cloud Shell made available as open source. And what's awesome that we have Rick on the show, because Rick actually knows the group that put this together. He worked alongside them in regards to this.
Yeah, it was some cool stuff. I know one of the PM teams that was responsible for Cloud Shell when it first came out, and it was a big top secret thing that we had to keep quiet under the hood. It's really interesting architecture because it's a Linux instance running on top of an Azure container instance. Those are the really super fast ways to spin up containers. That then is obviously pre-authenticated into your Azure subscription when you spin them up. So the fact that now we've made that infrastructure available to sit inside of a virtual private network to give you full isolation from the rest of the world is a next really big thing for being able to do stuff. Obviously patching into Visual Studio Code for being able to run your PowerShell scripts and that sort of stuff. Right. It's getting better and better. It's one of my preferred ways of going off and managing my subscription and my resources is to simply shell.azure.com as one way of getting access to it, but then obviously using this special infrastructure you can now set up as well has come through. So cool stuff inside of there. That's the fastest place to get the latest bits for all of your management for PowerShell modules and also for the Azure CLI inside of your environment as it goes inside of there. We maintain it for you.
So let's continue on. Next section is events. And Rick, I know there's a new something new in regards to Ignite that you wanted to talk about really quickly.
Yeah, from an Ignite perspective, I just want to do a quick shout out to the fact that Anna Chu, a good friend of ours, is going through and sharing some information with regards to a new thing that she's created and the team has put forth called Table Talks. She's soliciting suggestions for possible topics. I don't know and I can't share how many actual Table Talks there are going to be. Actually, I do know, but I can't share it. And the idea is that you go to aka.ms. Okay, now forget what the URL was. You know what it was there, Anthony?
I don't have it on screen, no.
What? We don't have it on screen because it's a form to be able to go off and to look at. But aka.ms call for topics, is that what it was?
I think it was call for topics.
Here it is. I got my notes here. Call for table topics, aka.ms/call for table topics. You can go there, fill out your suggestions on what you would like to moderate and host. It's not a panel discussion. It's not I'm going to present slides. It's you have a topic that you kind of present an overview, a tiny bit about, but then you're soliciting input and having a conversation with the 300 or so more of your friends at the same time to discuss and debate and to talk about this topic. So there's been some good ones coming up on Twitter. Hashtag MSIgnite to follow some of that conversation that's going on. Patch and Switch has even gone off and suggested a few of them as well. But these could be anything from career and skilling advice. These could be about going through and the nuances of using Exchange 2016 to manage your environment if you wanted to or something like that. It's basically sky's the limit. Make a good pitch, and then as we get closer to September, we'll be able to reveal more information about which ones have been selected. And then when we go live with tooling, you can put it inside of your calendar to make sure that you can attend it during Ignite. And do you remember what dates are for Ignite? Did you ever learn that?
I did, September 22nd to 24th.
You got it. The format's going to be a 48 hours of continuous learning and skilling around the sun, following the sun around the world, to make sure you can watch your content you want to see inside of your time zone. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some familiar faces on there, being able to do some of the hosting responsibilities and the interstitial programming shenanigans that go on. So all that kind of stuff's going to be coming up on September timeframe.
So what's awesome about this is the hallway conversations that happen in Ignite that in a virtual format is a lot harder to do. So in terms of these table topics, the ability to learn from others, share your ideas with others, huge opportunity. So make sure you take advantage of that opportunity to submit your ideas and content to Anna Chu and team to get selected for Ignite to have this opportunity to do the table talks.
Right. Now, again, don't forget, it's not the traditional breakout style format. This is conversational.
And the other thing I've never heard before is career advice and patch and switch in the same sentence, which was awesome.
Oh, nice. Ooh, burn. I can tell you how not to lick that Cat 45 before you plug it in. Not good.
Again?
Let me tell you. Not good for PoE.
All right.
24 volts is a lot. It can actually numb your tongue.
And you should know. Let's continue on with the news. So the next event we wanted to talk about is our good friend Thomas Maurer will also be participating in a virtual live event, which will take place on the 18th of August at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if Rick has the screenshot on that one.
No, don't have it.
He does not have it. So we'll share it inside of the blog post later on. This is in respect to Azure architecture best practices, again, led by Thomas Maurer, and he'll be sharing that out. Actually, Thomas, since you are in the chat room, and if you want to do some work today, you can actually share the link on there.
The link is in the blog post, right? You always have a blog post with a show, so the link's going to be in the blog post.
Yeah, the link will be in the blog post, but if Thomas is around, he can share that on the chat room as well, because Thomas will be hosting, so we wanted to make sure we highlighted that. And with that, next up is the Microsoft Learn module of the week. And I'm wondering if Rick has that one ready?
That's the implementing your hybrid identity with Windows Server, right?
Correct. So this is the first one, the first module in the Windows Server learning path that's been made available. A lot of interest in regards to this one. Is a great way to get started in terms of your 2019 uptake. Unfortunately, Rick is showing the wrong screen again, but that's okay.
Like, what is this? The links are in the wrong spot, my friend. I don't understand where it is.
So if you scroll down,
scroll down.
Microsoft Learn module of the week.
Is this it? Look at you guys have categories and everything. We've got to take some show notes from all of you.
Wow.
Isn't this beautiful?
Oh my God, Jane and gentlemen, please get back to the script.
Yeah, so producer Pierre's like giving us a little bit of crap inside of our ears when actual fact we're the ones doing the difficult stuff trying to do this.
Producer Pierre chirp this much. This is a first. This is I'm thankful
that patch and switch show, I guess.
Oh, I guess so. So here is the the module that we're talking about. What's awesome about this is Windows Server utilization in Azure that can be also harnessed on premises as well in terms of your implementation of hybrid identity. And the whole aspect of hybrid is both worlds being joined together. Your first foray into your hybrid environment, if you're moving from on-premises to capitalize on cloud utilization, here's your great first step that you can go to, hands-on labs. There's video sources in there, there's step-by-step sources in there, and it's completely free, which is awesome.
Got it. Now, you know what the problem was? In the structure of the OneNote file, when we were talking about all this kind of stuff, you had something that was labeled as extra. Assigning groups to Azure AD is now in public preview. So I had that up and ready to go, but then we skipped over top of the extra piece. So are we supposed to go to the extra piece or not?
Wow. That's why it's labeled as extra.
No. Anyway, this module is quite good. It's got 15 different units inside of it. It's a definitely fun one to be able to do. It's another part of the batch of stuff that we're putting into Microsoft Learn as a team, as an organization, talking about supporting your career and your growth inside of Microsoft ecosystems, because Windows Server and hybrid identity and hybrid solutions using Microsoft products with Azure just makes natural sense. It's like peanut butter and chocolate in the same thing. It just makes sense you're going to have those two things together. So the hybrid identity module is part of what's going to be going in there. We've got way more coming in time for September timeframe, so I'm sure you're going to have some more featured modules coming up here in the very near future. Now, are we supposed to hear like a musical band playing us out on AZ Update, or you don't have that, eh?
So we do have an outro, a little bit more professional than the band that you have. We actually have orchestrated music that's been put together for the closeout. But before we do want to thank you for joining us on the show today. So if people want to get a hold of you on the web, how do they do that?
I'm @RicksterCDN, or my alter ego @Patch and Switch, one or the other, based on how much coffee I have.
Now, if you're also a big Call of Duty player, you'll always find Rick as last place in terms of the team, but he's a great human shield, so it's a great person that's hide behind so that you don't get taken out. Producer Pierre, if you want to follow Producer Pierre, you can always follow him @WiredCanuck, and if you wanted to follow me, it's @WirelessLife on the Twitters. Thank you again, Mr. Claus, for joining us on the show today. Hopefully we didn't sting you too bad.
No, I think we're pretty good, and don't worry, I'm going to be starting to brush up my Mario Kart skills so I can take on you and Isadora soon too.
Isadora has no chance. All right, so that's the end of the show. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.